protesters forged in places like Hornby Island, which is an out-of-the-way spot here in British Columbia.
It was the late 60s. The Vietnam War was raging. Like many young Americans, Michael McNamara was drafted.
It was a very politicized time, and some very nasty things happened. You were either on one side or the other, it seemed.
McNamara, now a building designer, knew which side he was on, so he ran away from the war. And like other American protesters, he found peace here on the isolated Canadian island of Hornby. Today, many of the protesters are still here. Giles and Cassandra Bassett, who now run an organic farm, came from Orlando, Florida.
We left the States because Giles did not want to go to Nam and die.
Tim Biggins also ran away from Berkeley, California. He now runs a repair shop and raises cattle. Do you consider yourself an American, a Canadian, an American in exile? What?
I consider myself a Hornby Islander.
But the United States was your country.
Well, country is such a big concept, you know. I mean, I'm part of this community, and I can deal with the community. I can have an effect. I can make a change. In the United States, I was banging my head against walls trying to make changes, you know, going to jail, doing time, and not making any changes.
Biggins and the others have made changes on Hornby. It was once a sleepy fishing and farming island with only about 100 people. But then came the draft dodgers, and with them, the American counterculture.
People wind up here because it's possible to experiment, and it's actually necessary to be inventive.
Today, there are nearly 1,000 full-time residents, and the counterculture is still alive and well. There is no police department. Locals settle disputes on their own. Virtually everything in Hornby gets recycled. In fact, Hornby has the highest recycling rate in all of British Columbia. And if anyone needs some clothes or an appliance or whatever, they go to something called the Free Store, where items are turned in rather than thrown out. There's also a nonprofit food co-op where the customers are the owners. It's that kind of social spirit that has built the local community center, the schoolhouse, and the senior center, all constructed by volunteers at no cost to the government. About the only controversy here is land development. Many locals are passionately anti-growth. Keith Sorensen is the local developer.
You just can't deny the fact that there's going to be growth. There's going to be more and more people coming here, which in itself, I think, a lot of the locals resent.
But this is the kind of house some islanders consider needless growth. It's hardly what most people would call urban sprawl. In fact, life on Hornby seems close to idyllic, especially to former Americans. Do you ever think about going back to... You were given amnesty.
No, I'm totally happy where I am. I had secret places in the San Francisco Bay Area that I could go to, you know. I live in a secret place. That's a privilege.